What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot going on here right before the midterm elections and a lot of controversy here going on here with Senator Joe Manchin here and President Joe Biden. Also, Senator Ron Johnson here as well. Things heating up here right before the midterm elections. Let's jump right in here. We got a lot to cover here. And if you're new to our channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on our new videos. And don't forget to hit the like button here for us. Let's jump right in. Yeah, Senator Joe Manchin calls for a deal on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid in the new Congress. Yeah. So yeah, here's what he has to say here. Manchin says, quote, "You're going to get your financial house in order. We cannot live with this crippling debt." Yeah, Manchin, whose pivotal vote both delayed and helped pass big pieces of President Biden's agenda in both the third stimulus check package and the Inflation Reduction Act through the reconciliation process. Says, quote, "If we don't look at the trust funds that are going bankrupt, whether they be Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and the highway trust funds, all the ones, there are tremendous problems right now." Manchin said when asked where he sees areas of potential compromise in Washington after the midterm elections. He says, quote, "If we can't come to grips of how we face the financial challenges that this country has, then we're all going to be paying a price that we can't afford." Yeah, the Social Security Administration announced last year that it is projected to not have the funds to pay full benefits past 2033. So it's about to be 2023. So that would be in 10 years. I thought that the year was 2035, but this article is saying 2033. Even my wife thought it was 2035, but this specific article is saying 2033. This would mean that they would only be able to pay out partial benefits at that time. So, yeah. In February, Manchin proposed addressing that shortfall by increasing the amount of income subject to paying into Social Security payroll taxes from $147,000 to $400,000, which is very, very similar to what Senator Bernie Sanders, one of the bills, where they would increase benefits by $2,400. And as you can see here, directly from Senator Bernie Sanders' Senate page, he's not up for re-election, Bernie Sanders, but Senator Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and multiple colleagues have a bill to expand Social Security and pay an extra $2,400 per year and extend the solvency by 75 years. So they would actually be able to pay out an additional $2,400 a year. And they had Social Security do the math on this. And Social Security Administration, their mathematicians and statisticians said that yes, it would extend the solvency by 75 years. You can see here that it would expand Social Security benefits by $2,400 a year and fully fund it for the next 75 years past the year 2096, all without raising taxes by 1 penny on over 93% of all American households. Yeah, these estimates reflect an analysis of the legislation conducted by the Social Security Administration on the request of Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative DeFazio. The analysis was also released in a letter from Chief Actuary Stephen Goss. This follows the recent release of an annual report by the trustees of Social Security and Medicare trust funds that showed Social Security currently has a $2.85 trillion surplus and can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible recipient until the year 2035. You can see here, Bernie Sanders says at a time when half of older Americans have no retirement savings and millions of senior citizens are living in poverty, our job is not to cut Social Security. Our job must be to expand Social Security so that every senior citizen in America can retire with the dignity they deserve, and every person with a disability can live with the security they need. And we will do that by demanding that the wealthiest people in America finally pay their fair share of taxes. It is absurd that a billionaire in America today pays the same amount of Social Security taxes as somebody making $147,000 a year. It is time to scrap the cap, which means people stop paying into Social Security at $147,000 a year, and expand benefits and fully fund Social Security. I am very proud that the Social Security Administration has estimated that our legislation to expand Social Security benefits by $2,400 a year will fully fund Social Security for the next 75 years by applying the payroll tax on all income, including capital gains, above $250,000 a year. Manchin pushed back hard against Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders' effort to expand Medicare to include vision, dental, and hearing benefits by arguing that the core program itself was in danger because of the soaring federal debt. Quote, my big concern right now is that the 2026 deadline for Medicare insolvency, and if no one's concerned about that, I've got people. That's a lifeline. Medicare and Social Security is a lifeline for people back in West Virginia and most people around the country. If Manchin continues to push a bipartisan deal to shore up the finances of Social Security and Medicare, he could have a negotiating partner in Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who has proposed a broad entitlement reform on several previous occasions. Mitch McConnell says after Republicans captured the Senate majority in 2014 midterm elections, Mitch McConnell decried what he called the unsustainable growth rate of Social Security and Medicare and warned, we need to adjust these popular programs or they won't be there in the next generation. In October of 2018, when Republicans controlled the White House, the Senate, and the House, they passed the Trump tax cuts in 2017. Mitch McConnell said that entitlement spending, not the Republicans' push to cut taxes, was the main driver of the federal deficit. So by entitlement spending, he's talking about Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. McConnell said, quote, it's a bipartisan problem, unwillingness to address the real drivers of the debt by doing anything to adjust these programs to the demographics of America in the future, he told Bloomberg News at the time. Manchin, who appeared Thursday before a room full of CEOs in a video link, urged the audience to stop making political donations to members of Congress without getting solid commitments to improve the nation's governance in return. Joe Manchin said, quit writing checks to everybody, to politicians, he's saying. He argued that successful CEOs build good companies because they expect returns on their investments. Yet too often they write checks to lawmakers in Washington without expecting anything of real substance in return. Joe Manchin says the investments you've made in politics from Democratic sides and Republican sides by asking nothing in return is a foolish investment. He says, why don't you do this? Tell a politician when they come to you, say, listen, I'm sorry, I don't give checks. I don't give a donation or contribution to any politician, but I'm willing to make an investment. What should I expect from you? What are you going to do? Manchin advised. That almost seems like bribery. Like, are you expecting the politician to do something for you in return for your money? I don't know. You let me know your thoughts. He said too many donors are giving checks to bad behavior by supporting candidates and office holders who are happy to let partisan gridlock rule the nation's capital. Yikes. So let me know your thoughts here on this. And what do you think needs to be done to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid programs here and going forward here? Yeah, so a lot of talk going on here about this, and something going to be done here eventually. What do you think needs to be done here? What do you think the parties are going to do? What do you think needs to be done? What do you think will happen? Let me know your thoughts. Also, a lot of controversy going into the midterm elections here. Yeah, several races very close here. One, Ron Johnson from West Virginia. Got to remind you guys about this. Yeah, if you remember Ron Johnson, senator from Wisconsin, who's up for re-election, who twice blocked stimulus checks to the American people. In fact, solely, there was a stimulus check up for re-election here. Both Republicans and Democrats wanted to do it. Republican Senator Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders were both pushing for a $1,200 stimulus check, and Ron Johnson single-handedly blocked it because they needed unanimous consent in the Senate, and he single-handedly stood up and blocked it. He blocked stimulus checks twice. Here's a headline from Politico. His quote was, "I'm not heartless. I want to help people. I voted to help people," as he blocked the stimulus checks. And then also, just recently, Senator Ron Johnson suggests ending Medicare and Social Security as entitlement programs or mandatory spending programs, where he said they should be approved by Congress every single year, even though people paid into them for their whole lives. And it's your money. You expect to get a return on your money, almost kind of like what Joe Manchin said. You pay into Social Security year after year after year after year when you work, and then when you retire, you expect to get this money back. Well, Senator Ron Johnson says no, Congress should have to approve it every year on whether you should get the money back or not. This actual quote from him, and you could look it up. In fact, a lot of controversy going on. He's actually leading the polls right now. I'm actually flabbergasted on this one, right? In fact, here's what former President Obama had to say here just like yesterday.
Some of your parents are on Social Security. Some of your grandparents are on Social Security. You know why they have Social Security? Because they worked for it. They worked hard jobs for it. They have chapped hands for it. They had long hours and sore backs and bad knees to get that Social Security. And if Ron Johnson does not understand that, if he understands giving tax breaks for private planes more than he understands making sure that seniors who've worked all their lives are able to retire with dignity and respect, he's not the person who's thinking about you and knows you and sees you, and he should not be your senator from Wisconsin.
Yeah, and I mean, you may like Obama or not. I mean, it's totally up to you. But I mean, if you're wondering about his comments about Ron Johnson actually voted for a provision to increase tax write-offs for people that buy private jets. You can't make this stuff up, right? Yeah, you can see here a statement on Ron Johnson voting for a tax break for his family's private planes, which he voted for, which made it so that you could write off an entire private plane, and which his family then bought an entire private jet. So again, you gotta kind of remember here, there's an old saying, right, that my wife says what's good for the goose is good for the gander. No, that the saying I was going to say is when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. And then what happens is when it comes time for re-election, oh, no, that's not me. That's not, you have to remember what people have done when they're in office. They block stimulus checks for the average regular person. They want to block Social Security, Medicaid, and have Congress approve it every single year. They vote for tax breaks for people buying private jets. And then they want the average everyday person's votes. And remember, 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So again, Joe Manchin's actually, I don't side with Joe Manchin very often, but ironically, what he's saying inside of his statement, not many people are writing checks to political people, but inside of what he's saying is right, is that you shouldn't really vote for somebody. I actually seen a comment here. I don't remember what the comment was, but the comment was basically saying, how do a lot of these people get reelected? And the comment was from somebody saying that a lot of people just vote Republican all the way or vote Democrat every single time. They vote Democrat every single year or they vote Republican every single year, no matter who the candidate is. And that's part of the problem with why a lot of people get reelected, no matter who the party is, no matter what side you're on. So I urge a lot of people, and no matter, because again, I'm not from either party, a lot of people are always outraged on what goes on in Congress, but yet a lot of the same people get reelected year after year after year. Are people not realizing what these people do in Congress? So if you're not happy with what people are doing in Congress, just look at what they do. If people show you who they are, believe them. Don't all of a sudden, at the very last moment, when it comes time to reelect them, look at their fake facade that they're putting on, right? So you have to look at what they've done. Don't just vote for somebody because they have a D or an R by their name. Unfortunately, there's just not enough independence at this current time. So and again, it's just, I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments, but this is just the sad way of our political system. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I see so many people saying we need change, whether it's, and again, it doesn't matter what party you're from, but you got to really realize a lot of these people in politics have been there for years and years and years, and somehow they get magically wealthy. They become worth tens of millions of dollars and they buy private jets and stuff and they vote for this type of stuff. Oh, tax breaks for private jets. And meanwhile, they want your vote and 60% of Americans are struggling just to pay just to get their paycheck and stuff. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with the truth of what's going on here in America on a daily basis. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day. Also, we're going to be giving away more money to our viewers here in November and December. Just gave away $1,000 here it was right at Halloween. I'm going to be giving away more money here to our viewers here in November and December. So stay tuned for that here as well. So make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget to hit the like button. Here's some videos you can watch next. Here's my newest video on Social Security raises. And here's my newest video on checks that are going out to millions of Americans that you might not even know about. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.